Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, being asked to speak on behalf of the voiceless children in Pennsylvania. When asked to speak today, I struggled with the need to sugarcoat the situation for the sake of listeners losing their breakfast. And the reality is painful. So I did sugarcoat this a bit, and if you would like more in-depth details, I'll be able to give those to you. For the children of Pennsylvania, the last 180 days of quarantine and isolation has been a nightmare. The state has yet to tally the increased numbers of child deaths and near deaths due to the result of 180 days of lockdown. Lockdown with former abusers, newfound abusers. The facts are grim and they are being ignored by our governor. Meth and fentanyl, just an example, they're on the rise. Drug use in our communities is on the rise. This impacts children in many ways. With more days at home, children are still at risk. Children are nearly dying of ingestion of lethal, legal and illegal drugs that are left within their reach or on coffee tables in every single one of our counties and districts, every single one, and some of the children are dying. Those are numbers that are on the rise in our hospitals. Children who were protected by daycares and kindergarten class are no longer protected. Teachers, social workers, and pediatricians are mandated reporters that sounded the alarms for these children, and they're no longer able to do so. All of that ended in March, and it continued over a long, hot summer, where children continue to be the greatest casualty of this epidemic. The very policy that was meant to protect the lives of children is needlessly killing them. It is important to note, on a lighter note, but still as grim, families who have never touched the system, never grappled with drugs and alcohol, domestic violence, joblessness, depression, and suicide, those families are now in crisis due to a disaster declaration. These families are living in this newfound crisis of their own, and the children, the voiceless ones, they're the ones suffering in the unsafe homes and away from school structures. Our older youth are another example of what has gone wrong. These older youth are lost right now without in-person teaching. Since March, they describe the frustrations and feelings of purposelessness, teen joblessness, and rise in access to drugs and alcohol in their homes and out in the community. The governor's office is asking families, now you'll see, now 5 months late, all we are doing is saying, you better watch your kids when they're in that swimming pool. You better lock up those guns that you have loose in the house. Lock up your drugs that are actually, some are legal. If you're suffering from substance abuse disorder, you might have take-home methadone or medically assisted treatment loose in your house. That's impacting children, as well as illegal drugs. Everything now that families are locked up together and isolated, and no one's there to check, no one's there to watch. The whole media, the last 2 weeks, because these numbers are coming in and the state knows about these numbers, the governor's office knows about these numbers, Department of Human Services knows about these numbers, and they're trying to get out the word real quick. Children are dying of supervisory neglect. Caretakers, grandparents, a neighbor that's just randomly happens to be available. All of these people are watching our children here in Pennsylvania, and the children are at great risk. So, Governor, we're asking you to reverse course just for the mere sake of the children. We need to allow children to regain as much of their lives back safely and in person, and this can be done. And we ask you to do this. This renewed disaster declaration is going to be disastrous for the children of Pennsylvania. Thank you.